Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Chuggaaconroy for our post-review thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles X. So let's get right to it. Well, Chugga, I put in my thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles X in a massive 27-minute review, but I found that I can talk about this game endlessly, so I brought you back and to give your final thoughts on the game since you actually have beaten the game by now.
So does that mean that this is a never-ending video as opposed to the review, which just kind of, you know...
Yes, we will be talking about this for all time.
Yes. I will never do anything else. This one video is my entire existence.
Yep, exactly.
Better enjoy it.
Yep, but yeah, what'd you think? Like, what are your thoughts now that you've fully played the game? I mean, obviously haven't 100% completed it yet, but...
No, I don't know if I'll ever 100% this game truly. It never ends. It never, ever ends. Like, just every time I think I am getting close to finishing it, just something else comes up that's absolutely massive.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, and I mean, the thing is, there's an infinity amount of basic missions. Those don't count towards completion. They're just a way to earn costumes and money and experience really quickly, and also build up your affinity really quickly.
There's also an infinity amount of affinity missions.
Yes, there is an affinity amount. Don't confuse people. But yeah, there's all that. But along with all the segments and just getting all your surveys complete, there's an achievement system where there's, 720 odd achievements in the game?
Yeah, I like how I got, I remember that I got an achievement, like, pretty far into the game. It was called Achievement Beginner. I went to my achievement list, and I wanted to see what Achievement Beginner meant. Earn 100 achievements.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I got around like 400 or 500 now or something like that, though, but I'm still way off from finishing them.
Yeah, I think I'm on like 350 or something like that. I mean, I haven't really been focusing on the achievements. But you get a lot just by playing the game, but some of them are just like, I don't know if I want to do all this, like, because you got to kill a certain amount of every kind of enemy.
Yeah, you do. There's like Grex Slayer, Grex Subduer, Grex Massacre, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you get different ones for killing different amounts of each type of enemy. Actually, for the people watching this, if you want a really easy achievement that is really funny, there is actually an achievement for running around NLA in your underwear.
Really?
I'm not kidding. There is an achievement that is wore a swimsuit.
Wow. Is it a swimsuit or is it just like no armor?
I think it's like just wearing a swimsuit though. Like there is also an online leaderboard. And for those that haven't looked at the leaderboards, one of the leaderboards is most swimsuits collected.
Oh my gosh, I haven't actually looked at that.
So they're definitely relishing in the whole like Shulk in his underwear thing that was really popularized in Super Smash Bros. Because they're like, they made it an achievement to run around NLA in your underwear.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
This game's humor is so good. I think the achievement name is like Beach Bum or something like that. It's so good.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The game can be really, really funny in how they just present things and whatnot. Like, I came across a affinity mission. No, just a normal mission. Excuse me, where somebody. I don't know if I even want to explain the full thing, but basically there is some familial issues happening, and some of the stuff that this Nopon was doing was just made me go, oh my god, I can't believe they put that in, because it's just so ridiculous. And it's just like, I loved it, but it's just like, wow, I can't believe you guys actually did that.
There's a certain quest, a quest chain. I don't know if you've completed it. I think you could have technically finished it where you're in the game. I'll just say it's called the Sword of Legendary.
Yes, I have completed that one.
You've completed that. Okay, yeah. I won't dare spoil what the punchline of that thing is, but it's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, there's so many good quests, and you get these. Like, the funny thing is, you can react to them as like, all right, yeah, I'll go along with this, or like, this is stupid, and you can tell the characters or like give them hell or something like that. I love how like you can really affect like what you say to them, and I think the quest will still go on, of course, but the reactions will be different.
There's some quests that can be radically different depending on what you say, and I think that's really impressive. I think in our first discussion we mentioned that there was that one affinity mission where Lynn wanted to like fix a machine, and you know they were like, "Oh, what do you think? Should we like really put in the time and fix this thing and like make sure it'll never break ever again?" And I was saying, no, I'm hungry, and it just ended there. But I think you actually said, no, I want to fix it for good, and you had to go find materials.
Yeah, so I made mine a lot longer, and I don't know about the major difference, maybe rewards or whatnot, but yeah.
There was one I felt horrible about, like a decision that I made, and it's like I had no idea it was going to spiral so out of control.
I think I know exactly which one you're talking about, because I think the same thing happened to me with that one.
I don't know if this is the one you're talking about, though, but basically... There is, the quest involves, like, a sniper that is, like, shooting people from, like, the mountains.
Huh, I have not encountered that one.
Like, you have to catch this sniper and, like, find where they're, you know, you have to, like, take, like, where they're shooting from and use that to try to find them and stuff like that. And, without, like, spoiling, like, anything that happens in the quest, there were two options. I had give a sensible approach or give a plan that might just be crazy enough to work. I picked just might be crazy enough to work. And how was I supposed to know that the plan that my avatar was going to suggest was having one of the shooting victims stand where they got shot so they could get shot again and we could trace it back to the source?
What?
I am not kidding.
Okay, I haven't
felt
seen that
horrible. And it's like, it was somebody who had gotten shot already, and it's like...
Oh my goodness.
I felt horrible, because I was thinking, like, crazy enough to work might be, I don't know, like... make an unconvincing decoy and like stick it like where they were standing or something like that, or like something dumb like that, though. But no. The game actually had the shooting victim that lived like stand out and get shot again.
Oh my goodness. I remember that's so terrible. There was another one just to show all the like how things can just go so different places. There was a mission where I could do like I was helping this guy out with his like this dream he's had and fulfilling his dream, not get into too many specifics. So I finally help him achieve this dream so he can achieve what he needs in order to go do this dream. And by sheer accident, because I misread it, I basically did something that immediately then shattered his dream. I completed the quest, but I talked to him later and he just sounds so dejected. It's like, yeah, I'll still help you, but I don't know what I'm going to live for anymore. I'm just like, no. I felt so bad. And those are just tiny examples of how this game can just go in so many different directions. Like people are going to have different stories to tell based on their decisions throughout this game. And that's going to be really interesting to see.
It reminds me a lot of a Mass Effect game, and that's really cool. Like, it really is a lot like Mass Effect in that way, that just your decisions can impact lives, or even if people are alive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I actually did a quest where I was, like, certain quests will bring out new arms manufacturers, so you can get different items and stuff in the store. And one of the missions I was doing had this person, like, exploiting someone in order to make a lot of money. And I could either turn this person in or join up with them. And the first time I did it, I turned them in. And they said, oh, man, if I understand, yeah, I'll turn myself in. But if we hadn't done this, I could have done something really valuable with that money and been a big help to you. And I thought to myself, it's like, wait a second. Is that a potential arms manufacturers that I missed? So I restarted. I happened to save right before that, so I restarted the quest and did it. So I joined in with them, and what it turned out to be is just I get a lot more cash for completing that quest by letting that person go. It didn't affect anything else, but I just got a lot of cash. I've actually been keeping an eye out to see whether people are complaining about the fact that they have to pay an exorbitant rate in order to take care of this thing, and nobody's really said anything. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm okay here. So you might get some different effects for the quest itself, but not really see any effect on the world. It really depends on the specific quest.
It really does. Like, so many different quests can impact so many things. And I feel like in the first game, you would make decisions like at the very beginning, and it's like those like tertiary storylines would come back at the end, and you would see like how that person's life was changed by the decisions you made, and you would get like different endgame quests for doing it.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and I love that stuff. It makes me just want to keep playing and seeing more of these normal missions, these affinity missions, and just that's why I want to complete the games, because I want to see all that.
As of right now, I have 162 hours clocked.
Wow.
And my completion percentage is 83%.
Wow.
And the thing that scares me is that from all of this discussion that we have had, everything that we have said, that all means that this game is very replayable and is like an entirely different experience each and every time. And that scares me. Like, if there was ever a game that would give you your money's worth of $60, it's this one.
Oh, yeah.
Because 160 hours in, I'm like 4/5 of the way done with one playthrough. And there's incentive to play it multiple times over.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently sitting at 112 hours and about 57% done with the game. You know, and the farther you get, obviously, the more the quicker you can complete stuff. But there's just so much. Like, I really think like we could go 200 plus hours. You have to go 200 plus hours in order to just survey everything. That's not including the achievements. Like, that's just surveying everything and getting that 100% completion. And it's just mind-blowing. We're just talking missions. I mean, what else, as you've played, has stood out? I mean, in comparison, like, I think by now you can give a proper comparison to what you think of X versus the original.
Well, I think X has a lot of gameplay improvements. Like, I think the battles being faster paced and the new mechanics in them, like soul voice and whatnot, I think those are a clear improvement. I like having 4 party members as opposed to 3. I like being able to use other people's avatars. Quests are a lot easier to manage now because you have them like all on a board in the middle of town, and you're not like having to like, you know, you can go around town and talk to people to accept them, though, but you don't have to. There's all kinds of things like... I'm trying to like think of other examples. Of course, I think the skells are a gameplay improvement. It just lets you explore the massive world better. It makes it they can do a lot more with the environments. The areas are a lot more vertical in design. There's a bigger emphasis on platforming. So I think all those things are pluses. But I will say that I do prefer the original game being a bit more story-driven than this one. This one is a story-driven experience, but there's less of a focus on it this time around.
Yeah, I think that becomes its most obvious when so much like meaty story bits happen with these side missions, the normal missions and the affinity missions, and the story missions are entirely event focused. You know, it's almost like it's episodes of a TV series, and like you get spin-offs in order to get better idea about all the different characters. It's still good. I still found myself riveted the entire time, but it does seem like the original was definitely more of a traditional RPG experience where you have this massive story that just gets better and better as going on. This one was more episodic and event focused, but still really intriguing as you went through. Like, there were some parts where I got downright pumped.
Yeah, it's really good in that way. I think it's more of a character-driven experience than a story-driven experience, because all the affinity missions, they tell you like new things about the characters. You learn more about them the more you do, and because of that, it's very worth your time, like Derek said in his review, to go and do everything that you can. Just see everything that the game has to offer, because there are moments with characters that you will miss out on if you don't go to affinity missions. They don't expire or anything like that, but you definitely do need to play them, like, to get the full experience of the characters. It gives things said in, like, story cutscenes new meaning and things like that. It makes them much more interesting as a whole, because there is character development that happens in the core story cutscenes, but a lot of it is done in the affinity missions, and it makes things have a lot more meaning when you're playing the story if you do the side things.
Yeah, it's makes it so much more worth it to do those affinity missions. Like, I did one the other day that actually left me like really touched, and came down to a character doubting themselves, and you did a mission to like show that no, you should believe in yourself, this is worth it. And the way it ended was just so well done. I was like, yeah, I'm glad I did that one. That's really nice. Like, it had a really good character moment, and it made me enjoy the game so much more. It's just that's the thing, is like there might be small annoyances that happen throughout the game. Like, you can't have a perfect experience, not when a game this size. No. But when you get those moments that really strike a chord with you, it is so good, and it just nails it so well.
I can say that the game definitely does have its moments of annoyance.
Oh yeah.
There is that. And there have been reviews that have been really critical on certain points, and to a degree, I can actually agree with some of the things that they've said. I personally like the soundtrack a lot, but I can agree that some of the more commonly played tracks might not be for everyone. I can also say that, I guess for a moment of annoyance, when you first get to, say, like, Noctilum, there's too many dang enemies. I thought that was kind of annoying, but, like... there's not like so much of that I would say that it's like, you know, super detracting from the experience, because there's so many highs, and those highs go so high that it still works nonetheless.
Well, I know one of the major issues you had as far as the soundtrack was actually the flight theme.
Yeah, okay. I have heard the first few notes of that flying theme so many times. I wish that it either activated after a certain height of you taking flight, or maybe just have the option to disable it, though, because I would love to hear the area themes when, like, soaring through the sky and not have the background music change when I take flight. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing is, there's some areas where it doesn't change. Like, if you're in an enemy base or something like that, or if you're in, like, the ocean, it doesn't change, like, the ocean theme for you flying, yet it does if you're in, say, Primordia.
Yeah, it's very odd where they picked and choose it from. I haven't gotten far enough that I became annoyed by it yet, but... I can definitely see how that would happen with that song. I mean, because it's not an extremely long song either.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, that is an issue that does come up, is that some of the songs get replayed quite a bit, but always in small segments, so you always get this just a little patch of it. So it can be... I don't know. I could definitely... Like I said, I love the soundtrack, but I can totally see how somebody could be less than impressed with it.
On the note of Skell music, though, I will say one thing that definitely makes up for the flight theme is the Skell battle theme.
Oh my god, it's so good.
It is, like, that's music that you could dance to. It's that good.
Oh, it gets you totally into it. It psychs you up for the battle. You know, it feels so good. You know, that is just, it's supremely satisfying.
It is really that good. I would start singing right now, but I don't want to, like, destroy your viewers' ears. I've destroyed my viewers' ears plenty of times over.
Well, I guess they thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it just... so good. I guess the funny thing is because we've talked about Xenoblade so much, that there's really not much else to say about it without getting into downright spoilers. And we don't want to do that yet. It just came out. So...
yeah,
you know, we don't want to talk story yet until much later down the line when more people have had time to actually beat it. And that's going to be a while, you know?
It really is. Like, I had a full 3.5 weeks with the game before it came out, and so did you, and neither of us, like, were able to complete it all the way.
No, I mean, you know, we both had other duties to do. You had a little bit more time to dedicate to it, a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean a whole 50 hours.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time, and you know, I'm on the final chapter. I'm working towards it, but it's, you know, I'll tell you what, those last couple chapters, they get really challenging. I guess actually, let's bring that up. It's like, how do you feel about the difficulty of the game throughout?
I feel like it is a hard game. Like, it's a lot, like, running away from battle is not as easy as it was in the original, which I'm okay with that. I was kind of saying, I think I did complain that it was a little bit too easy in the original, that enemies would stop chasing you pretty quickly. But it is a harder game. You can, like, wander, like, a little bit out of the way and, like, have, like, a Grek see you, and those things run fast and they run far. I do think it is a hard game, though, but I thought the original was hard when I played it the first time as well. There is, like, a leaderboard out there for, like, how many times, like, you've died, and, like, I've seen that I have not been alone in the fact that I've died quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, I've died quite a few times, and the thing is, the game, I think, realizes this, because if you die, I think, 3 times in a row, a option will come up to lower the difficulty just for that chapter and just for that boss, so you can make it through that. And I've had to use it once or twice because it does get tricky, and I can't, you know, if I was playing on my own time, I would was like, no, I don't want to do that. I got to go and, you know, do it the right way. But with limited time, I was like, okay, yeah, I'll suck up my pride and actually, you know, use it. I do feel like there's a very good curve to the difficulty, though, because it's when we were first playing, we were like, yeah, it's a little tricky, but it's not that bad. By the end of the game, these last couple story missions, they will kick your butt if you're not prepared.
Yeah, it really is another case of you really should try everything the game has to offer, because if you do that, it is going to make things feel a lot... I don't know if I'd say easier, though, but just feel more manageable.
Yeah, like you're prepared for it. Like, it's not going to just come out of nowhere and just like, what's up? Bam! Crack you over the side of the head. It's like, what just happened? And it gets really tricky, too, because of skells. Yeah, the skells help you out, but if you lose them and you're stuck in an area with these enemies... you're in trouble.
The skells, they do give you a lot of power, but they're not just a, simple win button. I think you said that in your review as well. I keep quoting you.
Thank you.
I guess we really see eye to eye on a lot of things, though. But yeah, the skells are not just a win button. They are a lot more powerful. They have a lot more health. They can move around really quickly, and they're really good for transportation and whatnot. But... in battle, you do risk a lot of things. If a skull gets destroyed too many times, your insurance will no longer cover the repairs. You have the fact that you can be limited in what arts you can put on a skull. So, for instance, you might not have like a debuffing move, and thus you would have to switch to ground-based combat to inflict a debuff and then switch back to your skull. There's legitimate advantages to being on foot. For instance, larger enemies might not even see you, or even be able to see you if you're on foot, but they will suddenly want to challenge you if they see your skull. The opposite's true, where there's smaller enemies that won't challenge you in a skull, but they will challenge you on foot. Basically, the way that I like to think about skulls is like having a second art palette and a second bar of HP.
Yeah.
But it's really, really instrumental that you don't lose it in the middle of a fight. So you're going to want to be switching between on foot and skull combat when you can help it, so that you can make the most of a battle.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I've still not been able to effectively do. I basically wait until my skulls are too damaged, like I'm like just about to lose my skull. I'm like, okay, not losing it. No, then I'll go to ground-based combat and try to finish it, but it's not always successful. I mean, I'm not going to claim I'm the best, really great at this game, but I'm, able to manage my way through it and still have a lot of fun with it. You don't need to be super skilled. It's just ways that you can be even better to make the game much more manageable. And I'm wondering if this has ever happened to you in the game, where... have you had your arms blown off?
Yeah, I have. There's been, that's another thing about skulls, is that because you're so much bigger, enemies can attack your appendages just like you can attack theirs. And if you get your appendages knocked off, you can't use arts that use that appendage anymore. So if you have like a shield on your right arm and you get your right arm blown off in your skull, then you can't use that until the end of the fight.
Yeah, I mean, that happened once to me before. I was fighting a boss, and I was so close to beating him, and my arm got blown off. Now I have an art that will allow me to repair and actually get that arm back. But they blew off the arm that had that ability, so I was stuck. And then I was like, okay, well, just fight one armed. And I was beating on him, had him down to just a sliver of health. My other arm got blown off, so I'm down to just shoulder and back weapons. And most of those I have like to either like low damaging long range attacks or buffs or debuffs, and I'm like, this is awkward.
In a moment like that, switching to on foot is definitely...
yeah, so it got interesting, to say the least.
On the note of appendages, though, I played through the entire main story without ever once knowing that you could lock on to an appendage, that you could click in the right analog stick and you could stay locked onto an appendage no matter where you moved. I always just moved next to the appendage that I wanted to attack because I thought that's what I had to do, and it was your review that taught me that, and I was like, I felt so like, that would have made everything so much easier if I knew you could do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I read the manual, too. Either it wasn't explained in the manual, or I just missed it, so yeah.
I'm not sure. The funny thing is, I don't know if it ever actually says you can do that in the game. I was actually taught that during when I streamed the Japanese version of Xenoblade Chronicles X way back in March or April. Somebody said that, and I did. It was like, oh, well, that makes things a lot easier.
Yeah, I clicked in the right analog stick, like, in the middle of normal gameplay, and it did nothing, so I was just assuming it was a button that the game didn't use. And I never really had a reason to click it in battle. I click in the left analog stick a lot.
Oh, yeah, because that's how you run.
Yeah.
Super useful. That is one of the things I have warned people about in the review, is that the game teaches you the basics. It's up to you to figure out the advanced maneuvers.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of depth to the battle system. Heck, you were saying that you're at the end of the story and you still don't feel like you've totally grasped like what I was saying about the battles, how switching between Skell and on-foot combat has a lot of legitimate advantages. And then like there was that thing we talked about in our last discussion where you get a buff to your defense if you start a battle without a Skell, but the other party members have them.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's really useful to have that, and there's a lot of different tactics you can use in order to take down these things, and you got to really pay attention and help out. Like you're auto attacking, but I feel like I'm covering so much when that happens, keeping track of so many different things. Like thank God it auto attacks, because otherwise I'd be overwhelmed.
I've seen some people like get upset over the fact that auto attacking is a thing, like saying like, oh, I'm not even doing the attacks though, but like I like that it does that because the game doesn't turn into a button masher, and the fact that it's doing the regular attack automatically on a timer, that means that you can focus on more important things like how to position your character, getting out of the way of things that are powerful, casting up like a shield if you see something coming, giving buffs to your party, managing those things. Like there's so much going on in a battle that if I was also having to mash an attack button at the same time, I don't know how I would get anything done.
It'd be too much. I mean, right now, one of my major strategies right now for the class I currently have is that I have backslash. So I have to position myself behind the enemy, do the backslash, and do more damage. Then I have another ability that's a long-range one that if I do a close combat combo, it'll increase the damage of this attack. And then I have another ability that's a melee combat where I get if it's part of a long-range combo, it'll increase it. So if I overcharge these abilities, like get that second green bar filled and then do them one after another, I could easily rack up over 20,000 points of damage.
It's really, yeah. And heck, you can make that go even higher with various other effects, like just how you outfit your character and whatnot.
Yeah, it's totally possible, and it makes it like it feels really satisfying when you're getting your butt kicked, you're not really doing that much, and I pull off that combo and all of a sudden their health goes from 3/4 full to less than 1/4 full, and I'm like, okay, I got this. So I think that pretty much covers it for our post review thoughts. I mean, we both obviously really enjoyed the game. I loved it, and I'm actually curious, Emil, what would you have given the game if you had followed our review system?
Same thing you gave it. Don't even deny that you ever thought any differently.
Yeah, exactly. I figured.
I think the game has its moments of annoyance, but the goods are so good that now I just sound like I'm quoting you again. It's like it's not perfect. It has moments of annoyance. There are things I do prefer about the original, but there's also things that I prefer about this one.
Yeah, it seems, having never finished the original and only not even playing to a significant amount in terms of that game of the original, I can safely say that it feels like a proper sequel. It improves on some things, but it also has its own unique voice, which is really good for a sequel.
I hope you'll play the original now. I know you said that this game was really making you want to, and it's on 3DS now, so it's never been easier. Plus the it's on the Wii U Virtual Console for like $20, so it's
in Europe, only in Europe.
Only in Europe. Oh, I thought it got released over here in like the past few weeks.
Nope, that's only Europe. I didn't realize that at first, but then people checked after you said that for the first time, and they're like, I can't find it. And then other commenters said, that's because it's Europe only. I'm like, oh.
Well, like, I own a European Wii U if you want to borrow it.
Well, I do have the original on Wii, so I don't have to worry. Don't worry. I have access to it. That's why I played it. It's just a matter of time. But once I feel fully satisfied with X, I do want to go back to the original and fully play it, because now I'm curious. Okay, like everybody's raving about the story, and I enjoyed X's story, and they're saying Chronicles is even better. Yeah, I need to see this.
Yeah, again, story is great in Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's just that it's not as much of the focus as it was in the original.
Yeah, and I definitely got a sense of that as I was playing through, just from my little bit compared to comparing the 30 hours I played of the original Xenoblade Chronicles to the first 30 hours of X. There's definitely a bigger focus, but that does not take away from X's good points or story.
I'm very glad that you prefaced that with saying that you just did not play nearly enough of the original, though, because if you said that you played quite a bit and you said 30 hours, I would have just been like, peanuts!
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I know, that's not nowhere near enough.
30 hours is peanuts for a Xenoblade game.
Yeah. That's why I always clarify. Yeah, I played it a lot compared to other games, not in terms of Xenoblade.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think that covers it for our Xenoblade Chronicles X post-review discussion. So thank you for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Emil, where can they find you at?
YouTube.com/Chuggaaconroy, Twitter.com/the same thing, Facebook.com/I'm a broken record.
We'll get that fixed eventually. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Xenoblade and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.